let me tell you something. If after 18 years you've been married and someone says to you, do you want to remain married to your wife? And you say, I don't know, we'll have to see if it's the right fit. You're on your way to not being married anymore, right?
No doubt about it. Anything other than yes to that question is no, which is why for the first time in a long time, I think that the Green Bay Packers front office is open to considering life without Aaron Rodgers. You remember the last couple of off seasons, the Packers brass was traveling all over the country, chasing after Aaron Rodgers, trying to sit down to him and apologize for what they did in drafting Jordan Love in 2020, so much so that they gave him a contract extension last year, 3 years at $50 million per. They're singing a different tune now. And if you listen to what GM Brian Gutekunst said about Jordan Love, it sounds like they're ready to give him an opportunity to play because that's the next step in his development. So now it's about the two sides huddling up to find the best destination for Rodgers in the team that Green Bay can extract maximum value from in a trade.
So, Jeff Darlington, you're a reporter. I'm just a talk show host and obviously a fan. I want to make sure I'm not over. You and I were together when we started getting word of these comments yesterday, but now that we've seen them and heard them in the light of day, am I overreacting to this? I find it remarkable. Maybe not remarkable. I find it very telling what he said and didn't say yesterday.
You are not overreacting. Publicly and privately, the vibe is the same. And that is that no longer does it feel like the Packers are simply going to kiss the ring of Aaron Rodgers and say, we need you back, we got to have you back. It is no longer that tone. It is, if you want to be a part of this organization, you need to call us, you need to commit, you need to show us that is going to be the case. And that is a very different tone. And that is, by the way, problematic if, in fact, you do want Aaron Rodgers back. Because now we're talking about two egos here. One person who's a franchise quarterback and who believes that he has done a great deal for this organization, and another in a person who is overseeing an organization he believes is bigger than any one player. So unless these two sides do decide, if one of them decides we need to keep this going, it feels headed in a very direct, very clear direction, and that is the idea of considering Aaron Rodgers departing the Green Bay Packers.
All right, Nico, you see all. I mean, you're a person who obviously always sees the future long before it happens. It's one of your many gifts. So you tell me, what happens? You've heard the comments. We're waiting for Rodgers. He said something on some podcast after coming out of the dark. We're waiting to hear of that. When that drops today, exactly what it is that he said, if anything. So what is about to happen here right now, Nico, Aaron Rodgers, Packers, et cetera?
Aaron Rodgers will not be a Green Bay Packer this season coming up. And I say that because from an outsider, outside of the whole situation, I'm sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers and the whole process. So imagine being the team. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is upset. He doesn't have control over some personnel. Well, we'll give him some control. Okay, there's one. Oh, Aaron Rodgers feels like you drafted Love in the first round, so you need to show me the love. Give him a big contract. Oh, we'll guarantee you $100 million, $50 million a year, whatever. He's going to make a lot of money. We've done that. Oh, we've tried to make you happy in that sense. And every single year, it's the same exact thing. So if you are inside that organization, if you are a GM, if you are trying to make decisions here for free agency, for the draft, you are sick and tired of being sick and tired about wondering if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there come OTAs, come minicamp, come the offseason. So with that being said, that interview was loud and clear. It could have been a simple, yes, he's our quarterback, but no, that's not the answer. They are sick and tired of it. They're over it, like most of us. So I feel like they're going to move on. They're going to try and get the most they can from Aaron Rodgers. And maybe, Greeny, maybe, just maybe, you, as a Jets fan, will have some hope and have a quarterback this year with the New York Jets.
I think we all understand at his best how good Aaron Rodgers is, basically as good as anyone that ever lived. How good is Derek Carr?
Sorry, I almost choked. How good is Derek Carr? Listen, Derek Carr lost his starting job with a team that paid him a ton of money. And when you look at Derek Carr's career, okay, so he's 63-79 as a starting quarterback. He's thrown 99 interceptions. He's thrown 28 interceptions in the last 2 seasons. He's fumbled the football 80 times in his career. So listen, if I'm going to give $35+ million a year and handcuff myself to the goalpost for the next 4 to 5 years, I don't think I want to go with Carr. I really don't. And I know he can be good at times, but there's a reason why the team that drafted him and paid him all that money decided to cut him and release him and let him go. So I would be cautious if I was going to spend that money. The guaranteed money is going to be north of $100 million, especially with a quarterback right now. So we've seen quarterbacks and teams in the past pay too much for a quarterback, then they're in trouble with that decision. So if you're the Jets and you're in a win-now type atmosphere with a great defense and you know all you need is that one piece, you do whatever you can to go get Aaron Rodgers, and you're very cautious with signing Carr to a big contract.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know if I can look at any decision that the Raiders make as an indictment on the player, right? Because they are the model for dysfunction. And Derek Carr has made 4 Pro Bowls since 2015. And although he
didn't start,
like he took a step back last year,
come on,
you have to look at what happened 2 years ago with the interim head coach and Rich Bisaccia because of the John Gruden mess, the Henry Ruggs tragedy. In all of that, he found a way to shepherd this franchise to a playoff spot. I don't know if we know what kind of quarterback Derek Carr is definitively, much in the same way we didn't know how good Matt Stafford was when he was in Detroit. There was a reason why Stafford didn't win playoff games in Detroit. He was with the Detroit Lions. So let's see what happens with Derek Carr once he gets with the team that has a better supporting cast than anything that's been with him when he's been with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Go ahead, Nate.
First of all, he made the Pro Bowl this year as a non-starter, which that should just veto and that should just the whole Pro Bowl voting is, we all know the Pro Bowl voting. There's guys that are in the Pro Bowl that had 2 sacks on the season, didn't even start. So that happens sometimes. On the flip side of it, Stafford, if you took the statistics of Stafford and the statistics of Carr, Stafford was a much better throwing quarterback, more arm strength, more accuracy. So that's a hard comparison to me. I don't compare Stafford and Carr at all. Like Carr was in a situation.
It's the comparison from the standpoint, Nico, we
over.
don't know if they can have postseason success. That's where the comparison is. There were questions about whether or not Matt Stafford could win in the postseason until he got with a team and a coach that could win in the postseason. If you look at Matt Stafford with the New York Jets, a championship caliber defense, the Jets defense was top 5 in yards and points last year. Derek Carr has never had a top 10 defense in his entire career. So all I'm simply saying is if you put him in the right situation, not only are you talking about that team being a playoff team, but you're talking about them being a contender.
You think that? I mean, let's be clear, because I have to admit I'm sort of closer to, look, I want to be enthusiastic about it if it's what winds up happening. So I don't want to paint myself into a corner. Yeah. But I'm a little closer to Nico in this conversation than I am to you in this. I really, look, he also does not play well in the cold, outdoors, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a limited sample size, but it is what it is. You believe that with a good team around him, Derek Carr can be the guy to take you over the top.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Derek Carr is 0 for when the temperature is below 40 degrees or something like that. The Jets didn't have any games that kicked off that were below 40 degrees last year. So there's that part of it. But, yeah, I do think that Derek Carr can help the Jets go on a deep playoff run, but I'm with you. Aaron Rodgers is a much better option. The only question is, will he bestow his good graces on that franchise?
What did he just say?
He just told us that we're not sure about our quarterback based on the health factor and that we're going to do our due diligence and see what else is out there to be had in the marketplace. Their only reason why they're not exercising Tua's 5th-year option immediately is because they're not sold on him. When you know you have a franchise quarterback, a guy that you can trust that's going to be healthy and available and help you contend at a championship level, you don't waste time locking them up because it only gets more expensive. You pay franchise quarterbacks sooner rather than later. If you don't believe me, just ask the Baltimore Ravens and what they're going through with Lamar. The fact that they don't want to exercise the 5th-year option, that they want to take their time and run this all the way up to May, is because they want to see what else is available this offseason and whether or not they can solidify the quarterback position and not have as much uncertainty with their guy going into the season.
Yeah, to be clear, Chris, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. It's not about how he plays when he plays.
No.
It's about how much he doesn't play, unfortunately, which has been the question mark on him going back to college.
Yeah, the last time he was fully healthy for a complete season was 2018.
Right.
Greeny. He hadn't been healthy. He hadn't been healthy since he's been in the National Football League.
Jeff, go.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that then. Like, if we're saying under one breath, basically, that he has been injured and they need to find out about the durability, and in the second breath, we're saying that, oh, why are they not doing this? It's like, maybe it's just a good business move. First of all, if they don't pick up the 5th-year option, you could make a case that, look, they don't expect him to play on the 5th-year deal anyway. If he has a successful season, they'll extend him after it no matter what. He won't play under that 5th year. And if he doesn't, they can just move on. I'm not saying they will or won't extend his 5th-year option. Clearly, it's a contemplation. But I don't think there has to be this greater meaning to it other than, hey, we're going to sign him to a long-term deal if he succeeds. And if not, we move on. I think it's prudent business. I think it's just smart.
Well, I think that's right. I don't know that we're necessarily saying different things. Mm-hmm. I think that we don't ask that question in Cincinnati, and we don't ask that question with the Chargers.
Nope.
I don't anticipate us asking that question in Jacksonville.
We don't ask it with the Eagles, who's also in that class.
You know, and who was in a different situation because he wasn't a first-round pick. I mean, the reality is that what you're saying, Jeff, and what we're saying is the Dolphins need to see something before they can make up their minds. Now, I want to show everyone Lamar Jackson's tweet from yesterday. I don't know how to interpret these things. It's not my forte. but Lamar Jackson, who, of course, remains very much in the news here for a lot of reasons, tweeted yesterday, no matter the circumstances, never crack, just relax with the sunglasses. And I'm not in any way trying to suggest that sunglasses are a sign that he wants to go to Miami, unless someone tells me that I should be. I love that. You know, I'm not. This is not my area of expertise. Is the social media deciphering? But Rob Ninkovich, I mean, you put those things together. You put the uncertainty that's going on in Baltimore, and you want to look for an offensive genius. I mean, Mike McDaniel, right? He's that kind of guy, right? He's one of these offensive. You give him, and Nico, you were just talking about it. You give him Lamar Jackson. I know there are injury concerns with Lamar, but they're nothing compared to the injury concerns with their current quarterback. I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. What am I getting?
So I think it comes down to what the Ravens are going to do as far as the tag options. And, you know, if it's the non-exclusive, then if you're another team, you have to give up a lot. I mean, you're going to have to pay Lamar a lot of guaranteed money because we know where his stance is there. You know, 2 first-round draft picks, that's a lot. That's a huge amount to lose. And on the backside of that, you know, what if those first-round picks turn into, you know, top 10 picks, right? So I don't know. I just think that if you're the Miami Dolphins right now, first you got to figure out the quarterback that you have. You have to figure out what's up with Tua. If Tua's not available, if he's not going to be there for us, what do we have to give up to get Lamar? Because if you're the Ravens, you're making sure that if Lamar is not your quarterback, that another team has to give up a lot to have him as their starter.
Jeff, I felt like you were disagreeing. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I truly respect the way the Dolphins are going about this with Tua. I think that they're really trying to handle it. They recognize what he's done. They're trying to do this the right way. But if Tua had just a bad year, stayed healthy and just had a bad year, Lamar Jackson to the Dolphins would be the most obvious slam dunk in the world. He is a South Florida guy. He would be running in Mike McDaniel's system with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. This team would be on their way to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll ever be able to wrap their head around it and move on from Tua and do something for Lamar. But I'm just telling you right now, this makes more sense to me than anything else when we talk about Lamar Jackson going to a football team.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.